Hello rock and metal fans, welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews. So today we're going to do another top tracks of the year. So we're up to 1983 now, and it was a great year for rock and metal. Just so many choices, so many top albums where from beginning to end they were brilliant albums. Really hard to make a list. I've actually not repeated any albums on here because there's so many releases, so I've only done a track from the best albums or the best songs from. I haven't done two tracks or anything like that. Yeah, it was a great one. So I've got 13 top tracks. Bit weird. I don't like to sort of go on an odd number, but I didn't want to have too many, and I had to include all these, so ended up with 13 in the end. So as usual, put down, you know, what you think the best tracks for the year are. I'll tell you what as well, what you could do, because I'm going to obviously do 1984. Maybe a few suggestions of some tracks in 1984 that I might like when I do the next one. Because it's easy to miss some stuff sometimes. You know, I look at different stuff to get the tracks together, but I can always miss a track, so I don't want to do that. It'll piss me off. So, 13 tracks. These are all good. I'm trying to put them in order of the best. You know, go from 13 to 1, but you know, they're all really good tracks. So number 13 first, and number 13 is Breaking the Chains by Dokken. So this was the debut album by Dokken. They had a lot better albums to come for me, but this was a great track. George Lynch is an underrated guitarist as far as I'm concerned, one of the best. Still producing really good guitar work, and Dokken was, even though he was in Lynch Mob as well, and Dokken was probably my favourite band that George Lynch has, you know, been in, and the great rhythm section to this, great riffing, an excellent song, Don Dokken in excellent form, as he was. You know, he was a great vocalist back then, a bit different. Didn't have that rougher side. He had a very soft melodic voice, but great. I think that's what made him stand out a bit, you know. So that was my number 13, Breaking the Chains, Dokken. My number 12, Saxon, Power and the Glory. So good album this. It wasn't consistent all the way through for me, but Power and the Glory was a brilliant track. I don't know, it's kicked off the album. It was proper metal. You know what I mean? It was what Saxon are all about. I think this album got a bit of a bad rap when it came out, but you know, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, but this was definitely deserving in being on the list. I really like the song. Fits along well side with all their other hits and all their top tracks. My number 11, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. Yeah, I like this. You know what, it brings back a lot of memories, watching the video as well, you know, the werewolf and all that, and it was a funny video, great. And I know that Randy Rhoads is a lot of people's choice in Ozzy's solo career. I know that, but J.K. Lee, for me, he was a quality act, and I preferred his them two albums he did with J.K. Lee. I like them the most out of all the Ozzy albums. I love the guitar work that J.K. Lee done, and this was a great fun track. Really sounds fresh still, even when you listen to it now. I really like Bark at the Moon. It was really good. Number 10. So a disappointing album from this band as far as I was concerned, but a great track, and that's Nervous Shakedown by AC/DC. So that was on the Flick of the Switch album. Another album that got panned by the critics, got a bit of grief. I can sort of understand why, but that was a really good track. I like Nervous Shakedown. I think it's the standout track on the album. It was a single as well. I know AC/DC were really good at producing good singles, you know, and that was no exception. Love Nervous Shakedown. It was I said in I think in my last year that I did on For Those About to Rock, could have fitted in, you know, the Back in Black album. I think that all Nervous Shakedown could have easily fitted in that album as well. A real quality track by AC/DC, that one. My number 9, The Crew, Shout at the Devil. So I like Motley Crue. They're not one of my favourite bands, you know, they're not right up there, but they are. I do like listening to the Crew. I think that some of the musicianship, I don't know, sometimes they don't play to their strengths sometimes, but I think that's what they were all about. A rock and roll band, obviously. Guitarist, I love the guitarist, Mick Mars. I think he's, like I said, underrated, but you can sort of understand why, you know, I don't think he's used to his full potential sometimes. But Shout at the Devil was a great track. I love the way this album was a bit darker, you know, compared to the debut album, definitely. And it's known as their masterpiece, if you like. I can understand that. It is my favourite Motley Crue album as well, but Shout at the Devil is a great track. Yeah, brilliant. Number 8, Rainbow. Can't Let You Go, off of Bent Out of Shape. So even though I've said before, Rainbow weren't right up there with my, you know, my favourite bands, but Jolene Turner and the band produced some great hits at that time, some great singles. I think Street of Dreams was on this album as well, so I was torn between that and Can't Let You Go, but Can't Let You Go just pipped it to the post. Loved Jolene Turner's voice, just absolute, so soulful, and what a great singer, and a great, you know, direction the band I think we're going in. I just wish they was more consistent across the albums, you know, and they would have been, songs like this, that they would have been right up there with my favourite bands, but that was a great song. Number 7, Kiss, A Million to One. So, yeah, I love the non-makeup Kiss. I don't know, and I know that you know, you read a lot of Kiss stuff and the fans are really into the makeup stage. For me, they improved with the, you know, when they took it off. I liked the direction, the 80s direction they was going in, that melodic rock direction. I preferred it. A Million to One is a real good song. It's weird, it's like not a ballad, but it's in that territory, very melancholy. The way, you know, the melody as Paul Stanley sings over the song, it's sort of sad in a way. I really love the song. One of my favourite songs from Kiss, could even be my favourite song. That was my number 7. Number 6, Thin Lizzy, The Holy War. So Thunder and Lightning was a storming album. My favourite Thin Lizzy album, the last one before Phil Lynott died, apart from I think a live album that was brought out. But the last studio album, and this was, oh, what an album, with John Sykes on guitar. What an addition to the band. I love Holy War because it's got that lovely bit of guitar work. I can't explain it, but it's a really weird sort of sound. It's over the beginning of the song and throughout the song. It's a lovely bit of guitar work by him, and a great songwriting by Phil Lynott as usual. You know, this sort of, I loved it when they went in that sort of more epic direction. Thin Lizzy, he talked about this song, and the one I spoke about on the last year, I can't remember what it was now. It's gone, but yeah, absolutely love Lizzy when they go a bit more epic-y. Yes, Angel of Death, that's it. So them sort of tracks, I think that's where they really exceeded Thin Lizzy, and this was a great track, The Holy War. Loved it, absolutely loved it. Right, number 5, Y&T, Mean Streak. Another underrated band that was sort of on the verge of making it in the 80s. They really were. It was like, I think where Y&T sort of let themselves down a little bit, yet again, was consistency across the albums, you know, all of them. So they had like a load of songs that were just outstanding and could have like kicked the arse of any other band at the time. And then they just had a few for me, like filler songs on the albums that, you know, a bit throwaway. And I think that's why, you know, they didn't make it that big. But when they, you know, this was an excellent song, so much energy in Mean Streak. Dave Meniketti, so underrated, voice, guitar playing, absolutely. If you ever want a guitar hero, you know what I mean, he is such a solos. It just reminds me a bit of that when Gary Moore used to really go for it on a guitar solo. Dave Meniketti the same, so much melody, So brilliant, absolutely brilliant, so underrated. Number 4, Def Leppard, Fooling, from Pyromania. So I was just, didn't know what to choose off this album. It's one of my favourite albums from front to back. Excellent songs all the way through. Fooling is so catchy, so much melody again, and heavy at the same time. They were still, you know, I mean, this and High and Dry are my favourite albums from Def Leppard. I like the next album as well, but for me, they lost something there. I can understand them going in that direction. It was a huge album, huge success for the band. But we're obviously talking about Hysteria. But you know, this is just my preferred time for them. Them 2 albums, High and Dry, and this one. I just think they were brilliant, and Fooling is my number 4 choice. Number 3, this was difficult. So Holy Diver was out. So we obviously be talking Dio. Didn't know what to choose, what song to choose. I was thinking Holy Diver, but I went for Invisible. This was the one I think it's got the most energy on the album. All across this album, obviously, it's full up with brilliant songs. You can put any of them in a list. I love the way comes in so heavy at the beginning after that little bit of clean guitar at the beginning. Then it comes in, like I said, with them riffs. And then at the end, when the band really go for it on that last verse and chorus, and I just think there's so much energy in it. It's so aggressive. Invisible is one of those underrated classics from Dio, I think. Number 2, big song for me, always has been all the way through my life, and that's Journey and Separate Ways. I mean, this sums up the 80s for me. Brilliant, absolute, so melodic, so catchy. Steve Perry's voice is outstanding. The outstanding song on Frontier's record, even though there was a lot of good songs on it. I think, you know, that they're so brilliant. Journey, and I've heard they're writing a new album, which is excellent for me. I've loved all their stuff with the new singer, Arnel Pineda or something. I can't remember his name. I think he's brilliant as well, and I can't wait to hear their new album. It's going to be fantastic, and they never disappoint, Journey. And my number 1, can you guess where I'm going with this? Iron Maiden, off the Peace of Mind album, and Where Eagles Dare. So I love this song. This is where Iron Maiden, I mean, they have some early on in their career. Their opening tracks of albums were fantastic. I mean, you look at Where Eagles Dare, obviously, Aces High. Do you know what I mean? But Where Eagles Dare is probably my favourite opening track on an Iron Maiden album. Maybe my favourite opening track on any album. The riffing in this song, I love the way they do just a small bit of, like, obviously Bruce Dickinson's voice is epic on this, but they do like a little bit of singing at the beginning, only a couple of minutes before they go into this big instrumental passage for about 3 minutes, and then come in again at the end. Obviously this was based on the film or the book Where Eagles Dare, I think it was the film, and I love it, absolutely love it. Never becomes old. It's just as fresh today when I listen to it as it was back in 1983. So that's my number 1, Iron Maiden, Where Eagles Dare. Hope you like the video. Please put some suggestions on what you think I might have missed. You know, good songs from that time. It would probably piss me off if it would have made my list and I've missed it. But it can happen. It has happened. So yeah, that'd be great. And also remember, if you can suggest what you think I might be picking in 1984. I mean, that'd be great if you can have some guesses, and then be interesting to see who guessed right. All right, cheers. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, the red button below. Subscribers are still building slowly. I'd love to get them up, and that'd be great. More people with more input. It's brilliant for me. So thanks. See you next time.